Today we're going to create an expressionist landscape using oil pastels. It's always a good idea to use a photograph that you've taken yourself, either on holidays or during an event, because that way you'll have a personal connection to that photograph. And that's what Expressionism is all about. It's about personal expression through the artwork. So I'm going to right-click and open with Photoshop. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to work in this top layer. This one is locked. This will be always my original. I'll just pop that away. I want to play around with these colors because we know that Expressionism uses non-naturalistic colors. So we don't have to stick with a blue sky and green grass. So if I go up to Image, across to Adjustments, and then down to Hue and Saturation, I can play with the hue and see what that does to create some interesting effects. Or I can go up that other direction and see what happens there. I guess the issue I have with these effects is that I would like to create more variety in here, and I could use the selection tool up here to select parts of this image, and you might want to do this yourself, and then change that part of the image while other parts of the image remain the same. I'm going to leave that and play around with the hue and saturation. And that's pretty much what I'm going to go with. The reason being is that there's quite a bit of variety of colour. I've got the bright reds here, I've got some greens, yellows, the blues in the mountains, and if I do want to change the sky to a different colour, I can always go back, play around with the colour of the sky. I'm going to click OK with that, and I'm going to go File, Save As. I'm just going to save it on my computer, on my desktop, but you might want to save it to your own file. I'm going to call it Oil Pastel, and I want to change it to a JPEG file and click Save. I'll click OK. I'll get out of Photoshop now. We've already saved it. Here's my landscape that I'm now going to use to create an expressionist artwork using oil pastels. So with your own photo, if you've already got a photo from a holiday or a landscape that you particularly like, especially one that you've taken yourself, it could even be a photo that you've taken at the park or even a view from one of your windows at home. As long as it's a well-composed photograph and it's of a landscape. This is one way that you can set up your art space. I've got a drop cloth because oil pastels can be really quite grotty, and the last thing you want to do is get some of those oil pastel flaky bits in Mum's carpet. Notice how there is a cloth there that is for cleaning the dirty oil pastels so they don't contaminate your work. And also I've got the screen from which I'm going to work directly in front of me. Draw a 1 centimeter border around your page because that makes framing much easier, and then sketch in the scene from your photograph onto your A3 page. Please make sure that the other side of your page that you're going to be working on is blank, and maybe even right on the back of it, leave blank, because we will be framing this work and it will go up on display. Cleaning your pastels is important because when they get dirty, they contaminate your work. It's a good idea to start with your light colors first, to work from your lights to your darks, because once you put your darks in, then you can't go lighter. One of the properties of oil pastels is smudging, so use that to your advantage to blend the colors. Reflections always go up and down, so my strokes of the oil pastel, when I do the water scenes, are going up and down. You'll notice here that I've used the wrong colour, and one of the other properties of oil pastels, apart from smudging, is scraping it back You can even scrape it back and leave the scrape marks for an effect. But here you can go over it again with the colour that you want and make some improvements there. So notice also how the foliage in your drawing will direct the type of texture that you use with your oil pastels, whether it is the kind of spiky grass or the tall long leaves. Use your drawing to inform the way you're going to put the oil pastels down. So keep referencing your landscape image on your laptop as you progress through this artwork. Use the oil pastels according to their properties and have a good time finishing it. Take a photograph and upload to Google Classroom. Thanks Year 9 and looking forward to seeing your work.